Hey, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Jamie, and this will be a reading for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. If you're new to tarot, just know that not every reading is going to resonate, so if you feel like I'm wrong or this just isn't your reading, please just disregard it. You never want to take a reading that's not for you. I'm going to pull cards like King, Queen, Emperor, and Empress. Those cards, they describe a really specific personality, but they have nothing to do with the sex or gender of a person. So if I pull a Queen, I could be talking about anyone. If I pull the Emperor, I could be talking about anyone. You'll know it's definitely going to describe the person's personality. If you want to catch more readings, feel free to subscribe to the channel. If you click the bell, it'll notify you when I post. And if you want to become a member, you can check out everything I do over there by clicking join. So what's going on with Cancer? I'm getting that you've been sort of treated unfairly. And it, even though it's giving one specific other person here, it's kind of given, like with the 10 swords, that this is kind of like a thing. And with the 10 of Pentacles across the way from it, you could have grew up in a family that you feel betray you. They betray your trust, or they just, just did awful things. And I feel like you've tried to be patient. You've like waited for, some type of experience, in life that you kind of are giving up on now. This idea that, one day things will be reconciled, or one day things can get talked out. I think somebody is mature enough now to kind of look at who this other person is and say, maybe they're not capable. We have this 10 of Swords in the overall energy. And supporting it, we have the 3 of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Page of Wands. And clarifying that, the 6 of Pentacles, the 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords. It's like, I don't know why, but I'm getting I'm getting someone comes from like a very broken family system. And even though they attempted to break a generational curse, it's almost like it fucking skipped a generation. That's what it's looking like. It's like you tried your best to do things differently, but you're kind of experiencing, I think it's not feeling like heartbreak. It's looking like the 5 of Pentacles. It's like leaving this behind, because we have the Hero's Journey, which is a lot like the Fool's card. I'm the hero of my story. My life is an ongoing adventure of growth and courage. I'm victorious. And then we have leadership. organizes, directs, coordinates, and motivates others. So I feel like you have maybe even your whole life been attempting to resolve relationships that really weren't yours to resolve to begin with, because, you know, it's like maybe you were a child when these things were happening. You know, it's like there's almost like I'm getting like somebody has like a grudge against their parent, and they understand it better now because, you know, their kid sort of also, you know, has their complaints. But at the same time, the difference is, you know, like you would still be open and willing to hear your child out or something, and this is looking like a parent who doesn't give a fuck and never did. That's like like how it feels for you anyway, you know? Someone who never really protected you, never really talked to you about things, you know, never really showed up, it kind of looks like. And it really is giving, for some of you, you've waited your whole lifetime for this parent to just parent, you know, to just, or either that or just like apologize or take accountability or do something like that. And it's just, at this point, you've given up. It's never going to happen. And the only difference that you can make is being accountable. You know, you might still make some of the same mistakes as this person, but you know, you wouldn't, it's kind of given like I wouldn't let 20 years of my life go by without correcting something that I wronged, you know. Somebody, I think, basically has never really given you the time or energy that they should have. I'm kind of getting some, you know, at least emotional neglect. And you can understand, I think, because this is looking maybe a little bit, you know, generational cursey, where it's like, you know, you still make some mistakes too. Like I said, though, the difference here is that you try to take the accountability, you try to make the changes. And it also will verify to somebody when they know that they're in control of their life, you know, and the changes that they can make, that this other person has always been able to, you know. It's like they, you know, like they also could just see where they're going wrong and be accountable and like show up. They just don't, you know. And so there's no reason to have any emotional tie to that. I feel like it's actually more like freedom for you with the Nine of Pentacles. It's like this terrible sinking feeling of not being enough. Like you're really like healed from that, you know. It's you're not so insecure and feeling like, yeah, this is given childhood, definitely. Something with a parent where they, you know, always made you feel less than, or like you weren't enough for them, and you're like really able to look at the whole picture here now. But even though you're, you know, for some of you, your parents, and even though this parenting style of yours is not perfect, you can really see where you healed a lot of things and changed it up, you know. Are there some things you probably would do differently? Of course, we all can say that as parents, but you know for a fact that you made sure to keep the bond with yourself to never do the same things as this person. It's almost like, you know, just dismissing, not listening at all, just... You know, it's like a parent who didn't even want to be a parent type of thing, you know. I don't like it. I feel like you get really triggered from energies like it. You understand that. and also I feel like the solid truth here is, you know, you can be happy, but you're not. It's just that maybe this person cannot be a part of your life. It's not, you know, they shouldn't be in any kind of control over your happiness here, though. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's disappointing, but you know, you're your own person and you have worth. It's not up to this person to, you know, validate you. And if it is, God bless you, honey, because it's going to be a minute. Just, I'm looking at somebody who's been waiting like an entire lifetime, but it looks like somebody is really like moving on from this. They understand it better now. Like, one is, maybe this person isn't really such a monster because I also make mistakes. But at the same time, they're not trying to correct anything or really like do what they're supposed to. And so my best bet is to really emotionally detach from this. It doesn't have anything to do with me. And the truth is it doesn't. It just doesn't have anything to do with you. It's this other person, like, and whatever is going on with them. I think here, though, it's like, you know, somebody feels like they, maybe before, like, you know, when they were attempting to get over it, like the worst thing that they did was kind of victimize themselves. Like, you know, it took a long time to come out of this, like, mentality of, you know, being the victim of a situation and just deciding, you know, I'm not a child anymore. I can make my own decisions. I don't have to fucking deal with this person. I just need to make sure I never act anything like them. But I do feel like, you know, basically, like, it looks like, you know, someone was given their last chance to resolve things with you. And if that's not going to happen, so mote it be. That's on them. It kind of looks like, you know, you were the one to go ahead and do your best to reach out. And if somebody else isn't mature enough to understand where you're coming from or even try to have that conversation, fuck them, go be happy on your own. You know, you just can't change other people. All right. See you soon.